Hello and welcome to Quizzy Monday. That was rather an exciting week of quiz tonight. Week of quiz, evening of quiz. I can't even get my words out straight. Fantastic. Starting off with a very tight Mastermind, then a very tight Only Connect, then a very tight University Challenge. And we are fortunate to have people from each of those shows with us tonight. We've got Will Vince from the Mastermind episode. We saw Kathryn from Only Connect, and we will have slightly later on Emma Dinnage from St. Cat's. We've also got Owen McArdle, who is one of the people behind the St. Cat's team. We've had Owen and Kathryn on before. We welcome them back, and we welcome Vince for the first time. Later on tonight, we'll also have Quiz Week, and we'll update you on all the nominees for Quizzer of the Week and Quiz Team of the Week for the coming week that you can vote on. So I will now bring on to the stream Will, Owen, and Kathryn. So here's Will, Owen, and Kathryn. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
So, first things first, congratulations to Will. Commiserations, Kathryn, and commiserations by proxy, Owen, to your team. It was a cracking night's TV, though, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah. I can't believe how close all of them were, actually. Yeah.
Just for the benefit of viewers, not everybody has had a chance to watch everything, which I forgot momentarily there, because when you're on TV, you get a lot of messages telling you you've done brilliantly, or I can't believe you didn't get that question right. So that happens all the time. So Emma will be joining us a little bit later once Emma has dealt with the deluge of messages about University Challenge. But let's kick off with Will and Mastermind. Firstly, Will, what made you pick Joseph Rowntree as your subject?
Well, for anybody who doesn't know this, when you apply to go on Mastermind, you have to submit 5 specialist subjects, and Joseph Rowntree was probably about 4th on my list. Honestly, the reason he was on my list, so I lived in York for a little over 6.5 years, and he's a pretty prominent person in the history of the city, really. And I'd sort of read a bit about him before, and I thought, well, that's somebody I know a little bit about, and in the space of sort of 2 or 3 months, I could probably pretty comprehensively learn about this person.
And learn you did. You did very, very well, getting every question right on your specialist subject. In terms of your prep for your specialist subject, what did you do to nail a subject that well?
Yeah. So the other thing that people who've not been on the show might not know is when you agree a specialist subject with the production team, you also sort of agree the scope of the subject, and possibly in the case of like a biographical subject, you agree a set of sources as well. So pretty much what I did once I had the set of sources that they were going to primarily pick questions from was just read it cover from cover, and absolutely everything I read that I thought I could turn into a question, I basically made a database of questions.
How many questions did you end up with, Will?
I'd have to double check, but somewhere in the region of about 650, I reckon.
That sounds pretty much hard. And then once you got your questions, how did you go about fixing them in your brain?
So I got a tip from somebody who'd previously been on the show, who I got in touch with, and I'd never heard of this before, but there's a software called Anki.
Yeah.
Which, a few nods there. For anybody watching this who's not heard of it, like I hadn't, it's basically like flashcards. Basically, it's a software program where we can build up flashcards, and I basically just I put in my database of questions and just kept going through questions and questions and questions. I cannot tell you how sick of it I was by the end, but it worked. So
it does, as long as you've done your prep. And you've covered the right things, it fixes that stuff in your short-term memory. Last time I was on Mastermind, I used it was earlier days than Anki, but it was a flashcard app. And you're right, you get sick of it, but it allows you to sift the ones you're getting right all the time into one bucket, and the ones you're not getting right into a bucket that come up more and more often, which means you can work on that stuff. We've got it on Quiz Academy. We're going to be doing a video about flashcard apps and Anki in particular. So if anybody wants to learn more about that, wait on until we get that done. It's in the queue. We've got a few comments in the chat. People saying hello. So Kathryn saying hi. Quentin saying hi. Chris is saying hi. Quentin has a lot of love for Emma, so we'll be very happy when Emma's here. Valerie says, really good performance from Will. Now, I am a little bit kind of out on a limb tonight. Valerie is my producer. Normally, she's sat next to me here, controlling things, keeping me in order. She's not very well tonight. She's in the other room feeling very ill, which is one of the reasons why I'm so ill prepared. I'm not even wearing my branded top. So it goes to rack and ruin when Valerie isn't here to sort me out. So let's just hope I can get through this on my own. Pam says, good evening. So, Will, fantastic specialist subject. 12 out of 12 questions on it. In the lead after round one. What were you thinking about in that lineup? I mean, how experienced a quizzer are you, for the benefit of people who don't know you? Were you sitting there thinking, I'm the quizzer out of this four, I should get this, or were you thinking, got it, this could go anyway?
Well, so I'm not a particularly experienced quizzer. So I do play in the OQL, the online quiz league, which I joined about September last year, I think. And that's the first quiz league I've ever played in. And then this was filmed sort of early July. So I'd probably only really been sort of doing competitive quizzing for about 10 months or so. So not really that long, relatively. It's the first TV quiz I've done. Watching that back was excruciating for me, and probably for quite a lot of people watching it. Sorry, because I was so nervous. I was so visibly nervous. I think I might actually hold the distinction of being the most visibly nervous person to have ever won an episode of Mastermind. I'm not sure, but so what I was thinking at the end of that special subject round was just that I couldn't believe that it had gone that well, and I have pretty much no memory of most of the recording, to be quite honest. And when I was sat there, I pretty much didn't hear any of Lynn's general knowledge questions because I was just sort of couldn't really believe where I was. It was just I was very blank. I think if I hadn't prepared the special subject that well, I wouldn't have got any of them because I was just running on autopilot, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure Kathryn and Owen can probably kind of vouch for the experience of being in studio and it goes like a flash and then you can't remember half the stuff. Kathryn, have you got that sort of feeling from your appearances?
Yeah, definitely. I was watching it with interest tonight because I couldn't remember any of the questions from the first round. I could remember some from the second and I could remember the wall, but I just could not remember any of the questions we got in the first round. And I was going, oh, we got that right, did we? So
you get to play the game again.
Exactly.
Owen, how about you?
Well, I wish I had some studio experiences to regale. Some of us were not so successful in our individual pursuits to get on the TV.
But do you find that with quizzing in general, though, that you kind of come out of a match and some elements of the match are a blank and you just don't remember what happened?
Oh, for sure. If I think back to our audition, I can remember one question that we got asked in our audition. It was the one that I went and Googled afterwards. The other 29.
Emma's here. I'm about to bring her on stream and make Quentin very happy. All I'm going to say to Quentin is behave. Emma,
hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. It's all right. We know what it's like when you just finished a show and what a show that was.
We
will
had a
get
bit of
on
a watch party in college with a significant amount of anguish at the end.
I thought you were going to say a significant amount of alcohol, but
no, very civilized watch party. Civilized show.
You have a fan club. I don't know if you know Quentin O'Brien.
I do actually know Quentin. I could have sold him out there and said no, I don't know him at all. But no, I do know you, Quentin. Thank you. That's
yeah, and it's fantastic. To get on a show like that and to do as well as you've done. So we'll talk more in detail about UC in a bit. We're chatting to Will at the moment about his Mastermind performance. Will came first in Mastermind tonight. And so halfway, you were 1 point in the lead. Then it got pushed out. The target got pushed out quite a way, didn't it, to 23 points. So what were you feeling at that point of you couldn't coast to winning this? So were you feeling nervous about that?
No. Was I feeling nervous about it? Yes. I found watching myself back excruciating just because of how nervous and twitchy I was. I'm not normally that twitchy, and I didn't sound like myself either. I didn't think. But what I was thinking, so at the very end of my special subject round, I kind of thought if the target's within maybe 10, because of how nervous I am, I think that might be okay. But anything around 10 or more was going to be really pretty tight. So when Joe got 20, Joe had a fantastic general knowledge round, by the way, didn't he? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was really good, and he looked really calm under pressure. He played brilliantly. So when that meant I needed 11, I thought this is going to be pretty tight.
And so you ended up tying. There was 1 point, the Wonder Woman question, where you could tell you were wrestling. This was like, it felt like there was a dialogue going on in your head, and I know this, I know this. I'm going to sit here until I fetch that blooming answer out.
Yeah, annoyed that's been annoying me since that was filmed in July. So the reason that one was so annoying is because as he was reading the question, I thought, oh, that's Wonder Woman, obviously. And then the question just kept going on and on and on. And then there was a bit about a mother being a warrior or something. I can't quite remember. And I was ready to say Wonder Woman. And I thought, oh, hang on. And then the Xena, the warrior princess, just jumped into my head. And I thought, oh, no, hang on, it's not that. She wasn't a comic book character. You're taking too long. So just say Wonder Woman, Xena. And then I don't know why, just the wrong, because that other thing had jumped in my head. It happened on the exactly the same thing happened on the Pollyanna question as well.
The Heidi, and you said Pollyanna.
Yeah, and I said, that's what I mean. Exactly. Exactly the same thing happened there. I had the right answer in my head, and then
it's what's technically known as a brain fart. It happens. Emma and Kathryn, did you have any of those over your run? So you had both of you had 2 shows, or maybe Kathryn you had 3. I can't remember. But over your run, were there things where you kind of either you had a mental block or you meant to say something and it just couldn't come out? Emma, you're smiling.
Yeah, I think my finest moment of today's episode was having a bit of a panic with the camera pointing in my face and saying Rihanna instead of Ariana Grande. I knew it was Ariana, and I think for some reason with the similar names, I just came out with Rihanna, and I had the absolute privilege of Jeremy Paxman giving me the no, it's not. So I suppose something iconic did come out of that, but it's just the pressure, isn't it? And it affects people in strange ways.
Yeah,
you're not really feeling it.
It does, and you were particularly at that point under pressure, time pressure. So you didn't want to be waiting around. If it was there, you put it out. Unfortunately, brain fart and bang. Kathryn, how about you? Have you had those moments?
I think tonight it was watching us in the question about people that all had the same name, and to hear us discussing, oh, they must all be called the same thing, and then not saying that as the answer, but taking it too far and trying to think of what name they all had. So I think it's that one.
Claire is saying brain fart. Never heard that before. Priceless. Gerard, voice of experience. It's a very frequent term among quizzes. It is, and it is very kind of appropriate, really, for that moment where your brain says the answer is this, your mouth says something subtly different. But in your case, Will, it didn't cost you. I think what was critical, as Valerie says here, the pass is sunk Joe. He passed twice. You didn't pass at all. Was that a deliberate ploy on your part, a tactical play?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna, like, before the show had even started. I knew I wasn't gonna pass, just because I've watched enough Mastermind to know it's you're better off saying something dumb and not taking the hit.
Yeah, indeed. Owen, I can't remember if you watched Mastermind or not.
Well, no. So, slight issue. BBC Two Wales between 7 and 8 was showing Master Chef, the professional. So for other Welsh viewers, there were some very nice-looking scallops, weren't they?
So that would explain why somebody on Twitter said there is no Mastermind on tonight, but there's 2 helpings of University Challenge or something. And it's like, okay, because I'm watching Will in the black chair right now. So.
I think it's on Wednesday. I seem to remember them saying Wednesday in Wales. So maybe skip forward half an hour or something once we finish discussing it and on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll call you back and then bolt it on the. Sorry, what was that, Emma?
Sorry for the spoilers, everyone watching from Wales.
Yeah. Well, that's bizarre, isn't it? You got a perfect Quizzy Monday and they go and ruin it like that. So yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't make a difference. Your Wonder Woman issue. There was one moment where I thought there was an adjudication which I was interested in on the Bessemer process that Joe got, and he said stainless steel. And I'm thinking, well, it's steel. I don't know whether stainless steel is too much information, if that's an additional process on top. Did that just get accepted like that in studio, or was there a bit of debate about it?
No, so it wasn't accepted, was it, the answer you gave?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not how I remembered it. Because it definitely got checked, because they again, this is... You probably think that Mastermind's this very intimidating looking thing, which it is, and that there must be a very professional process to how they check these things. And I think there is, but it is basically a man in a room round the back, pretty much. I'm sure that there's more going on than that. But yeah, they spent quite a while deliberating on that one. There were actually about 4 or 5 episodes in that episode in total where they had to go away and check. Those edited, you can tell.
But they do that to make sure they're scrupulously fair. So they will
of course.
Sure the right answers given.
I don't know that they got any wrong, to be fair. I didn't realise they gave him that.
I thought they did. Otherwise, I've got my little notes wrong. But,
no, you probably are right. As I say, I can't really remember much of it, and I was there.
Yeah. it's all a bit of a blur. So you're through to the semi-finals, which has already been filmed, so we don't want any spoilers. But are you able to tell us what your subject is for the semi?
I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't actually know if I'm allowed to say. I'm happy to, though. Go
on. Or you can share it.
It's the paintings of Vincent van Gogh.
Excellent.
Which it wasn't supposed to be. There's a bit of an amusing story behind that, actually. But, yeah.
Okay, so we look forward to that. Valerie's chipping in. Clive said yes, still.
Okay, right.
So clearly,
yeah, it was definitely one of the ones that was checked. Yeah.
So brilliant. Look, best of luck for the semi-final.
Thank you.
We will watch with interest, and hopefully you'll come back on when it's your semi, and we can chat about that experience. Only Connect tonight. So, you won on passes. Only Connect, it was a rematch, Kathryn, and last time you played this team, you won on a tie-break. This time you lost by 1 point. One measly point. Is there a question you can point to, apart from the everybody's got the same name question, where you think, we could have done it on that?
I think there were a couple. One was in the wall when we were saying which Van Tulleken is it that they're referring to, Xander or Chris, and we just didn't make that connection. That it was all bunches of brothers, because we kept saying, which brother is it? Is it Tim Vine or is it Jeremy Vine? Is it, so we just, that one I think we were kicking ourselves on. And I as soon as they said Turner, I was waiting for the Fighting Temeraire, but Anthony was just so fast on the buzzer. It looks so slow on the program itself, but when you're doing it, and I think some people say that they actually build in a bit more space in the edit, so people have time to answer it themselves. But he was just so fast on the buzzer with ones there that I think that's where he clinched it.
Yeah, indeed. It's tiniest of margins. Oh, and watching this, hopefully this was shown in Wales.
Yes, this was made in Wales, shown in Wales. Yeah.
In that round one, were there any questions that kind of jumped out to you, particularly appealed to you?
As a linguist, I should have liked the dictionaries one. No, I was nowhere near it. I loved actually the initials one. I think I got that on the second clue. The initials spelling out the word defined by the
planet 6 to 8, and
that was really clever.
Yeah, I think Rachel got that one. So even though I get to sort of do the answers, most of the time it's my teammates getting things.
But yeah, it's. But that's the nature of the game of the captaincy, and sometimes you have to try and choose between the options that are available to you. I like the dictionaries one just because I know the person who was the first clue, so that was particularly nice.
Yes, it was very meta. Only Connect, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Beth Webster. I've known her for a long time. She's now an egghead on TV, but I didn't get the connection. Valerie got the connection, sat next to me. Of Webster, Macmillan, Chambers, and Collins. I was nowhere on that. So I did get the first dogs. I was quite happy with that. Gerard's saying my big brain fart was forgetting Beth's surname. So yes. Emma, did you catch any of OC before your University Challenge match?
I did watch some of it, and I quite enjoyed the question about Elon Musk's trials, actually. As soon as the Ash came up, I was just like, there's literally nothing else that this could be. And then I quite enjoyed the discourse on how to pronounce it as well.
We there was a bit more chat that was edited out of that, so we were all asked for our opinion of how to say Ash, and since I actually studied Old English at university, I was very much in the Ash camp. But Rachel had actually made a Christmas quiz for her colleagues that year, and that was one of the questions. So she was going, I know this, but was trying. We were pondering which number it was. So.
I mean, it's one thing to know the sequence; it's another thing to be able to finish it off, isn't it? And I mean, even if you told me, it's the name of Elon Musk's child, I would have thought, oh god, that's a really weird thing. But I wouldn't have been able to give you the number 12 at the end. That was a fantastic answer to fish that. It looked like there was a little bit of doubt, Kathryn.
Well, we knew it was something related to one of the space missions, and we just couldn't remember the number. So it was just one of those things. It was a bit of a fluke that we pulled the right number out. And talking of fluky numbers, I couldn't believe we got a maths question right as well. I have no idea where that came from. That was just.
Yeah, that was the 110, and Jonathan Gibson, the reigning Mastermind champion, said on Twitter whether this was like the moment of the series when Victoria said, "What do you think's going on here?" and you went, "Maths." Yeah, that's kind of my reaction to the maths questions on Only Connect.
Yeah. I always used to say that my answer would always just be -1 if we got a maths question, but that one there was a bit more of a pattern going on. And I remember getting the train home afterwards and trying to explain bases to Chris, writing out binary for him on napkins on the train. So.
Oh yeah. Again, there's some great questions here. Anyone got any favourites from the apart from Elon Musk's child in this round? Because I liked the welcome return of the NATO phonetic alphabet, that old faithful of quiz.
Yeah, I'll never be able to accept that it's called a phonetic alphabet because it's not phonetic.
That is good arch pedantry there, Owen. Fantastic.
Phonetic alphabet is the international phonetic.
The Months in Shakespeare one was fairly kind of straightforward once you'd kind of peg where you were. I think Valerie also, she had a cracking night on the quizzes, also got the World Cups one, which was a good connection to get.
Yeah, any sports ones, we just turn to Chris and go, sport, like maths. It was just sport. So,
at this point, before I forget, Emma, Will, Owen, you probably were as well. Were you looking at social media whilst your shows and stuff were going on tonight, or were you steering well clear of it?
I did in the first round. I was actually playing in a Gilbert and Sullivan show while the first round aired, so I couldn't watch it myself. So I was watching along social media and regretted it quite significantly and decided I was not going to do that this time. But I have been made aware of, I have quite an expressive face, people may have noticed on the show, and you can see what I'm thinking about certain questions very quickly. And there's an excellent tweet, I think, somebody saying, "Oh, when you get a music question, it's on rappers, and it's just a picture of me looking utterly despondent," which I think is brilliant. So I'm glad I saw that bit of social media, but the rest of it I stayed quite clear of.
Don't forget, Emma, I still have control of the college meme page.
Oh no! It was bad enough when I said "pass begins with a P" in the first round, Owen. I think I've suffered plenty.
Well, Kathryn's. Oops. I totally absolutely love Gilbert and Sullivan, says Kathryn. Claire is not a rap fan, I think. Will, did you check out the reaction?
I've mostly tried to steer clear of it because I found watching myself excruciating enough with how I thought I came across without having to have it confirmed by other people. I was having a quick chat. So Joe, who's on my episode, we're now Facebook friends, and we were having a quick chat about it, and he was saying that he got a little bit of stick from somebody for not. They suggested he should have just said carrot instead of pass or something, and so I had a quick look at that. I thought it's easy to say that from the comfort of your own sofa, isn't it? I mean,
yes. Well, it's always easier from the comfort of your own sofa without the stress and the pressure, etc.
I've mostly tried to stay clear of it, to be honest, because I just don't care.
I mean, to a degree, you kind of know what's going to be on Twitter. There's going to be half of it. Maybe a bit more is going to be decent discussion and commentary, or people trying to brag, get in that they got the answer before other people, and then there'll be some mean-spirited comments, but perhaps not as much as there were. Sometimes you come across this feedback without expecting it. Kathryn, tell us what happened after your first episode.
Well, so we had the first episode of the series and had our exciting tiebreaker, and it was just coming down from the high by Friday evening. Went round to a friend's for dinner, and about halfway through the evening, one of my friend's phones suddenly lit up with text saying, "Your friend's on Gogglebox," and we were featured on a episode of Celebrity Gogglebox. So not only were we being dissected by social media? We also had Denise Van Outen cheering us on, Giles Brandreth and Maureen Lipman watching bemused, and then I think we had Nick Grimshaw expressing complete surprise that any librarians would have even heard of the Pussycat Dolls, let alone be expected to know the lyrics. So that was a bit of a bonus for us.
Oh, I mean that's an absolute kind of life achievement unlocked. You're on Gogglebox,
exactly.
and particularly when they're not completely ripping into you.
2 shows for the price of 1, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can get on Gogglebox too.
Yeah.
Before we move on, we've had a question in the chat. Emma, maybe Owen. If it comes up, whose decision was the matching jumpers?
That is actually something I can take credit for. So you may have noticed a few of us wore them in round 1, but not everybody's had arrived in time. And Nick was looking very dapper in his shirt. So we did manage to convince him for the second round that it would be a really great idea if we all showed up in our college stash, because that's what we did for our interview. So when we actually interviewed to be on the show, we weren't expecting to get on the show at all. And so our brand was basically just be memorable and have a bit of fun. And so we were just like, let's wear our college jumpers. Why not? At least they'll remember we're from St. Katharine's. And then obviously we did get on the show, and I was just like, let's do it again. It worked then. Might work now.
And it turns out the production company did very much remember St. Katharine's. Maybe that's a story for later.
Yes, that might be a story for later.
For Quizzy Monday lates.
Yeah, Quizzy Monday. Extra details. I've also seen Pam in the chat has said going to see HMS Pinafore. That was the show I played in.
So yes, Pinafore. I was going to say, I'm not going to sing. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants it. Bad enough when they do it on Only Connect. I'm not going to do it. So, Kathryn, going into the wall, you saw the Scrubs wall for the first time tonight. What did you think of it?
Oh, again, I'm glad we didn't get their wall, because I think we would have got even fewer connections on their wall than we did on our wall. So, I would struggle with. Strangely enough, though, I kept going Oxeye Daisy, Oxeye Daisy. Obviously, that wasn't the daisy, but I did recognise that there were some daisies in there. But that was a tricky one.
Owen, any thoughts on that on the wall?
Yeah, I've just rereading my notes. Yeah, the Medics wall was hideous, wasn't it? Other than Michaelmas Daisy's Purple in the Border, which is a nice sort of primary school throwback. Interesting choices of things to end words with this week, I thought, as well.
Yeah,
body parts and what I thought was quite a mishmash of places. I know Victoria called them conurbations. Not for me, but
I think we've had something similar, and it may be that we've had it in Connections Online Quiz League rather than Only Connect, but it was like local government areas kind of going up from ward to parish to constituency, whatever, something like that.
I think we had that in our first wall as well. We had Canton, Oblast, and I can't remember the other ones now, but we had parts of a country previously. So
yeah. Will, did you catch any of this, or were you too busy with messages?
Not really. My phone was going a bit mad, and the only bit I did see is when I was on the phone to somebody, and I looked up and saw X Ash. I was like, "Oh, I know this one. That's handy." It's pretty much the only one that I saw.
Okay.
No, sorry, I haven't got a lot to contribute.
No worries. It was interesting for me the Amundsen Bellinghausen Weddell one for you, because I just started playing an app on World Geography, and it's got a thing where you can eliminate the seas. It will tell you the sea, and you can kind of eliminate them. And those ones around the Antarctic, they're right buggers for knowing where they are.
Yeah. I knew Weddell, that one. Yeah. I knew, and Amundsen, and my dad was a big big fan of Antarctic explorers for some reason. So, some of the names were familiar there as well, but not familiar enough to be able to spot them immediately. So.
Gerard can't resist a joke. After Oxide Michaelmas and Oopsie Daisy, I'm a bit stuck. There you go, Gerard.
I wish they put it in. That's very Only Connect would be to put Oopsie in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I wish they'd done that.
So yeah, after the wall, it was 11-12. So you're 1 point behind. Were you thinking this is history repeating itself? Were you looking down the barrel of another tiebreak?
Yeah, I was thinking it could go that way. And really, we had completely lost count of any points while we were in the missing vowels round as well. So, I just didn't know what the score was going to be, but at the end of it, yeah.
And, Turner was quite nice to say. You can anticipate to a degree. Body heat, that was a good get, Kathryn.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with that one. Yeah. And I was waiting for John Gielgud and Arthur when in the Butlers, but
didn't come up. And 15-letter words. Actually, I didn't think that was as hard as it felt like it might have been. But what you couldn't do as a team was get enough of a run to kind of fight back and get in the lead. And unfortunately, it cost you. So that's it for you. In a series which is really hard to get knocked out of, you managed it.
Oh, meow! I'm just going to bring up the point again that we were the reserves. So we got thrown in at the and we don't take part in any online quizzes. We go to a pub quiz once a month. So we were definitely the amateur underdogs here. So.
No, you did brilliantly. Being reserved, thrown in at the last minute. Getting through to whatever round this was, because, as I say, the competition is very hard to fathom.
Yes, I was trying to explain it to my dad, and he's given up.
So you did brilliantly. Hope you look back on your experience fondly.
Oh, definitely. And I think as well, because it was all in lockdown, it was just much more of a kind of fun experience. So when we went out to film the first episode, it was still in the days when you couldn't go into Wales without an official letter saying you were on, public service broadcasting duty. And then when we went for the second weekend to film the next two episodes, it was like the first time any of us had spent time away from home since lockdown as well. So, spending 2 nights in a hotel in the middle of a roundabout in Cardiff was like going on a mini break to the continent for us. It was as exciting as that. So, yeah. And the production team are all so lovely as well. I'm sure other people that have been on have said that, just lovely chats with the floor manager and the sound crew and everybody on the production team. So just a great experience all round.
Emma and Will, you would have both had to travel. Emma is you see is Salford, is it nowadays?
Yes, maybe.
And Will Mastermind's in Belfast. Did you get that frisson of excitement that you were getting to travel as well, like Kathryn?
Do you want to go first, Will?
No, you go first, Emma. Go.
I definitely did. We had the same letter read that Kathryn did, so we had these people are travelling on ITV Business. But it was a little bit strange because obviously at that point we weren't allowed to say that we were on the show. So everybody who kind of noticed that I was going from London or Cambridge to Salford for no apparent reason in a government mandated lockdown where travel is not allowed except under specific circumstances was quite a fun one to cover for. But it was just nice being able to get a bit of a change of scenery really when we were all stuck in our homes.
And Will, you had that with the added enjoyment of flying, I guess.
Yeah, that was weird doing that again, and particularly because as you've said, the semi-finals have been filmed now. Having to fly out to Belfast, go out to Belfast twice, and try and keep it secret is quite an interesting experience. And trying not to let too many people cotton on. It was really cool. It was filmed a little bit later, so it wasn't quite. The restrictions weren't quite strict when I went out to to Belfast the first time, which was beginning of July. But it was nice because I hadn't really been away and done much of anything. And sort of at the end of during the first lockdown, I ended up moving back home. And then ended up staying home much longer than I'd ever anticipated, and much longer than my dad had ever anticipated. So I think it was nice for us to get a break from each other as well. I think he appreciated it as much as I did.
We've got a comment here from Nick. Hello, Nick. Nick, congratulations on some brilliant play over the course of the competition. Sad that you won't be going any further, but well done. It's not many people could say they've captained the University Challenge team, so congratulations and well played. But yeah, it was weird because we'd never met in person before.
The team. I was trying to work out who these people I was emailing had actually ever spoken to before. I think with Nick, wir hatten bisher nur auf Deutsch geredet. We'd only ever spoken in German until I emailed him. Asked him to be our captain. It was an odd experience doing it in lockdown.
So how did you select a team when you couldn't meet people, size them up? You know, how the hell do you do that, Owen?
Spreadsheets. Lots of Google Meet and buzzin.live. I'll drop the name again. I think I did last time. If you want a buzzer app for up to 8 people for your Uni Challenge trial, buzzin.live. I mean, the production company in fairness were really good. And I had a couple of meetings with one of the producers to sort of pick holes in my recruitment process and tell me how I could be doing it better. When we sort of agreed on a way forward, but lots of virtual stuff, and of course, picking off a spreadsheet, you're taking a bit of a risk with who knows what the chemistry is going to be like. These people know each other, and evidently not in all cases. But it's a really good example of how good the chemistry has sort of been and developed over the last year and a bit now.
Yeah, and Emma, from your perspective, then you were selected without necessarily having played alongside or even necessarily against some of your teammates. Did you have any knowledge of what they were like before you were picked?
So I knew Hay from our team pretty much since day one of university, because we used to live almost next door to each other. But the others I'd never met at all. I knew who our reserve was, but I didn't know the other two, like from Adam. So I didn't know Owen either. I've still never met Owen in person. So it was just all a bit bizarre, really. Getting the email and seeing these random names and thinking these are going to be my teammates, and I've got no idea who you are. But I think we got very lucky. I guess we all have quite a lot in common, don't we? If you apply to a show like University Challenge, and just everyone was so lovely. I think it was the highlight, really, of being on the show for me. Like, even if we hadn't made it on the show, it was just the people you met.
Yeah, it's been a particularly good gelling team this year. If I compare it to the team that I captained last year, I don't know if it's bad captaincy from me, but it didn't feel like quite as good, as well matched a bunch as this team has been. Whether that is the reason for the success or not, who knows?
Well, we'll talk more about University Challenge. We have to take a short break, so I'm going to pop you all back into the waiting area while I do updates on news from the world of quiz, including the nominations for Quizzer of the Week and Quiz Team of the Week. So please don't go anywhere, because I'll be bringing you back very shortly to talk about University Challenge and to talk about what our champagne moments of the night were. So what was your favourite moment from any of the shows? Favourite question, favourite witticism, whatever it was. We'll catch up with that as we close the show. So see you all in a few minutes. Quentin says he's missing you already, Emma. So let me bring up the presentation. And normally, Valerie is driving this presentation. And sadly, I'm having to do this without Valerie. So if I get it really badly wrong, it's all on me. So first things first. So the winners of Quizzer of the Week last week. The winner was Dave McBrien for winning his semi-final of Brain of Britain. The final was today. We'll talk about that in a second. Second was Emma Laslett, the captain of Crabs, who won the Connections Online Quiz League. And third was Victoria Gross, the all-conquering American quizzer. Quiz team of the week was Crabs for the aforementioned Connections Online Quiz League win. Second was Bishop's Fist, bottom of Division 4 in the Quiz League of London, but they got a win, their first win since 2019 last week. And third was a tribe called Cheast from the newly formed Irish Quiz League. Congratulations to all of them. Nominations are open at tinyurl.com/ATQ nominations. You can send in a nomination for any performance from 5 o'clock this week, this Monday, through to 5 o'clock next Monday. Any performance by a team or quizzer. We also have a winner in our What is the Question competition. The answer was ball, and the winner was Claire Barrow, who is on the stream at the moment. Claire wrote, in cycling, the peloton is named for a word meaning little what. So congratulations to Claire. We release an answer on Sunday morning, and then on Monday evening in Quizzy Monday, we take all the answers that we've been given and we put them out to a vote. So this week, the answer was cold, and you can now vote to try and find the shortlist from this. Go to tinyurl.com/WITQ cold. You can vote through to Wednesday, then we'll put out the final vote, final 6 or so questions that you can pick the winner from, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the week before we release a new answer on Sunday. Finally, it's taken a while because I've been busy with a lot of stuff. But Elimination, the second episode of our Pop Culture Quiz Omnium, is coming out on Wednesday morning. This is a cracking 15 minutes of quiz, starring, amongst other people, Beth Webster, who was on Only Connect tonight as a clue, Dave Bill, Julia Hobbs, and Nick Paul. Brilliant quizzing. Second of 4 episodes that we've got. Elimination is fast and furious quizzing. Look out for that on Wednesday. And don't forget to subscribe to All Things Quiz if you aren't subscribed at the moment. We do this for free, so please, if you do nothing else, a thumbs up and a subscribe makes us very, very happy. So now I'm going to go on to the news from the world of quiz from the last week. And the big news was the Brain of Britain Grand Final today. Carl Whelan of Merseyside, he won by a 2-point margin over Dave McBrien. So congratulations to Carl. Carl gets a nomination for Quizzer of the Week. In the Online Quiz League, there were no full houses this week, but David Hess, Vincent Bright, and Dan O'Sullivan take nominations for getting 7 of their questions correct. And Dartologists get a nomination as a team for their win over Lovecraft at the Time of Cholera. In the International Culture Challenge, 3 players scored a perfect 15 out of 15 on their own questions. They were Scott Blish, Dylan Minerick, and Sean Webb. Scott Blish got a real monster score this week, but all 3 of them get nominations. In the Quiz League of London, Paul Sinhart and Dean Vaz get nominations for being the only 2 full houses of the week. And Hornets Rest get a nomination for their 58-50 win over Team, and Misfits get one for their 57-47 win over CFAX The Hoop. It was a tough week in President's Cup, with only one team breaking into the 40s, which makes it even more remarkable that Islington got 48, so they get a nomination. In the Quizzing World Cup, there are now only 3 teams with a perfect record: Broken Warriors, IRL but not IRL, and Astatine Hunger Force. And it's Astatine Hunger Force who get a nomination for their 61-32 win over Denmark X. We've had a write-in nomination for Boys to Menuhun, in the Quizzing World Cup for clinching a spot in the Stage 2 competition, and a shout-out to Coachella Fitzgerald for going 6-1 in Group C. In the newly formed Irish Quiz League, a nomination goes to E=MC Hammer for top scoring across both divisions in a high-scoring match. In OQL USA, there were no full houses, but a slew of people getting 7-2s. Picahoon was Long Nguyen with 26-7. He gets a nomination. And in Mimir as well, Jacob Myers was top scorer this week with 19 points. And a reminder that the Quiz World Series starts on December the 4th. Go to Mimir as well if you want to find out more about that. And last but not least, in the world of Student Quiz Bowl, a tournament of the weekend was won by Oxford A. They take a nomination, not least because of the imperious way they did it, with wins such as that against reigning University Challenge champions Warwick, 505 points to 85. Individual nominations go to Jacob McLaughlin and Ethan Webb, who are the top 2 individual players, and also to Felix Roberts for a 6th place finish that has shown great improvement in his quizzing. We've seen the winners of Mastermind, which are Will Vince, Only Connect, The Scrubs, and University Challenge Emmanuel tonight. And coming up in the week ahead, we've got the Quiz Olympiad all weekend in Krakow and the OQL Buzzer Tournament in Birmingham. So lots happening and coming up, and lots that's happened this week. So now an update on a reminder of who the nominees are for Quiz of the Week and Quiz Team of the Week. So for Quiz of the Week, it's Scott Blish, Vincent Bright, David Hesp, Jacob McLaughlin, Dylan Minerick, Jacob Myers, Long Nguyen, Dan O'Sullivan, Felix Roberts, Paul Sinha, Dean Vaz, Ethan Webb, Sean Webb, and Carl Whelan. And for Quiz Team of the Week, Astatine Hunger Force, Boys to Menhun, Dartologist, Equals MC Hammer, Hornets Rest, Islington Misfits, and Oxford A. So congratulations to all of those for the nominations. You can now vote at tinyurl.com/QW08NOV. That's tinyurl.com/QW08NOV. And that is the end of the Quiz Week segment. Don't forget to get your votes in. Don't forget to look out for what is the question later this week. So now I'll welcome back to the stream Will, Owen, Kathryn, and Emma. And miraculously, you're all in kind of the same place as you were before. So that's really good for me keeping track of everything. So, University Challenge. St. Cat's. 5 points. 5 points, Emma. Have you got over it yet?
I think it stung a bit. Both of our matches were pretty close. And after the first round where we won by 10 points, we thought, I can't get any closer than that. That's as nail-biting as it will be. And then obviously the second round happened. So, yeah, I think it was a bit sad for us because we sort of went on the charge a bit towards the end. We felt like we really had some good momentum going. I think there's one bit in the show where you can see me like turn to Nick and say, we've got this, come on, let's get him. And then we didn't quite have enough time. But, full credit to Emma. They were a really good team. I don't think we'd ever managed to beat them in our warm-up rounds. So we were quite proud of ourselves for giving them as good a run for their money as we did. But yeah. So
had you played them previously then, like in practice games? So you knew them as a team, yeah? So
all of the Cambridge teams, we'd had some like warm-up rounds beforehand. So we'd got to know everybody pretty well. And to be honest, we didn't do particularly well in our warm-up rounds. So I think, we outdid our expectations quite a lot when we got onto the show. But we knew that, Emma, Johnson, Trinity were really good teams. So, yeah, we weren't expecting to come out with a big win, but I think we did ourselves proud anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think if my notes are correct, 2, 4, 6, 7, pretty much on buzzes, you were on a par with them. I think you might even have had one more. It was pretty much on a par. But the thing that felt like a difference to me was conversion of bonuses. That was the difference between winning and losing on the night. And I guess if you get a bonus set that there's just an absolute blank for you, there's not a lot you can do about it. It did feel like you had a lot of those tonight. Was it frustrating? Just frustrating for you, Owen, watching. Frustrating for you, Emma, play when you've got to the buzzer first. You've got in, and then it'll be. Let's have a look. I don't know. A literary genre.
Let's start with some of them, really.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, it was a bit frustrating sort of looking over and seeing Emma occasionally be quite lucky with bonuses and get things like Bunsen burner and the biology bonuses where I was just sitting there like, I wanted these, I'm a biologist. And then getting, random jottings and 2010s hip hop music that samples US political speeches. But, that's the name of the game really, isn't it? It wasn't our day for bonuses. There's not really much you can do if it's just a topic you don't know anything about. A lot of them you can't really claw your way back. You've just got to accept that you don't know it and move on.
Yeah, Nick's saying it was definitely quite annoying when they got birds that we'd have got 3 out of 3 and we got random jottings and the way it falls. And I guess, Owen, there's nothing you can prepare a team for in that regard. You get what you're given. If you prepared them in terms of teamwork, whatever, you could squeeze the most out of it you can. But if you just don't know stuff, you don't know it, do you?
Yeah, I guess there are bits that you can take responsibility for if you want to put it in those terms. The bits where everyone gets a fair shot on the buzzer, but once you're beyond that, you're in the lap of the gods, really. There's not a lot you can do if the other side gets all the bonus rounds you want, or you get all the hideous ones and they get all the good ones. I presume it's one long list that they pick from anyway. So it really is just where you happen to buzz in and where you don't.
We've heard people on before saying that when you get the second picture round, you're 2/3 of the way through the show, it's kind of closing in, and at that point you were still a good way behind, but then you really closed, and then I know how I would be feeling when I was watching the birds questions being answered by Emmanuel, and it wouldn't have been as polite as Nick that they got 3 out of 3. I would have been thinking, how much time are they taking? Did it feel like an eternity when you were sat there? Not because of the points that they were getting or not getting, but just because they took a long time at like the penultimate, bonus set of the quiz.
I didn't really notice, to be honest. I think, for me at least, all of the bonuses felt like they took an eternity. I think just when you know that your face is on the screen and you're discussing something, it felt like it took forever for me. But I think when the other team got a set of bonuses, we just used it as an opportunity to regroup, really. So we all just went for the glasses of water, paid a little bit of attention to what the question was, and then just basically tuned out for their discussions.
That's a brilliantly diplomatic answer.
Because to pick this one up, it seemed a lot of people seemed to pick up. Emma had taken the ball into the corner, or however you want to put it. I'm going to defend them and say, if you can get yourself in that position, if you can quiz well enough to be in that position, then you earn that right, don't you?
And I guess it's up, taking the football metaphor or whatever, it's up to the referee to hurry you on. And if you're not being hurried, then you would take that time. Kathryn, it always used to be the case that, however, if people were quick on the wall, you got more missing vowels, which meant that there were times when teams like my team would deliberately take longer on the wall to minimize the amount of time on missing vowels for the opposition to come back. They stopped that, and now they seem to have restarted it again, where there's a variable amount of time on the wall. Did you get told about that when you were filming, OC?
No, nothing about that. So, yeah.
I think future teams are going to be more tactically kind of aware of that then next time around, because it definitely means if you're in the lead and you solve your wall, you don't want to finish it off until the time is nearly out.
I don't think we had time to strategize like that. We were just flailing about pressing buttons. So
yeah, well, flailing around pressing buttons is very entertaining. Emma, you buzzed in on Ultraviolet. How much of a relief was that for you to get that buzz?
Quite a big one, to be honest. Especially after the music bonuses, where I hadn't particularly acquitted myself very well. I just wanted to make sure I at least contributed something. I think it's probably fair to say that I was a bit unlucky with the questions in both of our rounds, to be honest. Nothing suited me particularly well. So when something vaguely scientific came up, I was just like, I'm gonna go for this one, because at least I can get this. And then I've answered something. Not my round, but at least I got something. Basically, was my philosophy.
There didn't seem a huge amount scientific in the starters.
No, a lot in the bonuses, which we could sort of watch in dismay as they went to the other team, but not really starter-wise.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for you. But your team, everybody chipped in with a buzz, which, Owen, from your side of things, must have been very pleasing that you've got a team that's nicely balanced, that everybody can contribute. That must have, irrespective of the result, you must feel, actually, if everybody can get in there, you picked a good team.
I think there were some people from round one that probably wanted a buzz, like we're going back to our football metaphors, the striker who needs a goal sort of thing, on a bit of a buzz strapped. So it was good to see people who hadn't necessarily got in first time round did get in second time round. That's really what you want to see, is a balanced approach to the buzzing.
And there was also another element of that. If we keep the football metaphor going, it's when you miss a shot, don't be afraid to take another shot. And hey, on your team negged, but then came in with a couple of buzzes later on. Very easy under the pressure and under the lights and match situation and worrying about what you're going to look like on TV, to not buzz, to clam up and wait that little bit too long. And she got in Harlem and Thessaloniki, a couple of good buzzes. So again, that's what you want in a team, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. What am I going with this?
It's bounce back ability, Owen. It's bounce back ability. You make an error, you bounce back from it.
If you miss the one penalty, you take the second one.
Yeah.
If we keep the ball rolling.
I think it was just kind of a testament to how supportive we all were as well. Like, we knew no one is going to hold it against you if you get something wrong, because you gave it your best shot. So I suppose that was something I really struggled with on the show, like having the confidence to go when I wasn't 100% sure. But I think overall that's something we did quite well on. And I don't think we lost any points in the first round from like incorrect interruptions anyway. So I think we sort of had that confidence.
Yeah, it's good play. Will, going back to your mastermind, you in your general knowledge, you were going like a train, and then you got 3 incorrect answers on the bounce. At that point, how did you stop your brain getting into the "oh my god, this is all going wrong" situation?
I don't think I did. I think I just got given a question that I definitely knew, and it kind of recentered me a bit. Yeah, I'm not. I could have sworn that wasn't the order that I actually got those questions in. By the way, I don't know if they changed it in editing, but I could have sworn it was a slightly different order. But I definitely did get like 6 or 7 on the bounce, and then I think part of it was I was just thinking, this is going too well. It's time to self-destruct, say something stupid, and then I don't know. I can't really answer it because I don't think I really did. I think I just got lucky in that I got a question again that I didn't know.
But it is possible for your brain to take the game away from you, in particularly in Mastermind, but I think in any quiz. And we saw it tonight. There are a few people. I think it was Lynn particularly. Had a run of passes, and when you get something wrong, and then you're still thinking about that when the next question comes up. And then you miss the next question, which you should have got because you're still thinking about a previous question. It can become this spiral of, in her case, is a little mini pass spiral, but it can be this thing that just your brain loses its focus, its clarity, and you start getting things wrong you shouldn't be getting wrong. And you pulled yourself out of it and avoided it. But
kind of. That did actually happen to me, though. I did have that where the first one that I can't even remember what it was now, but the first question I got wrong, I just didn't hear half of the second question. So I had no idea what it was. So then I got that wrong, and then I was getting nervous. So
yeah, your brain can do those funny things under pressure. So we had 3 fantastic episodes tonight. Mastermind, as we say, Will winning by virtue of not passing. Only Connect 1 point, and University Challenge 5 points. So, i.e., one solitary question. It was tremendous viewing, though. Tremendous viewing. So, congratulations to all of you for your contributions to that, and also Nick, if you're still watching, congratulations to you, and all the Sits and Cats cheerleaders, Quentin, etc. You can take pride in what you've done. What were your champagne moments? What were the things from tonight's quizzing that particularly, that's your one standout moment? Owen, start with you.
So I knew the results of Uni Challenge tonight. Obviously, I didn't know how it played out. So when it was 125-65 or something, it's like. I thought you told me this was close. So then to see that comeback come in at the end, I mean, I tend to sort of zone out a bit towards the end of Uni Challenge of a normal week. So it was nice to have something to keep me glued to the screen.
Indeed. So for you, it was the comeback, was it? That was your champagne
Cats
moment.
come back. You love to see.
Cool. Kathryn, how about you?
I have to say I didn't pay much attention to University Challenge, I'm afraid, Emma. Sorry, I was fielding phone calls and messages. I'm just going to blow my own trumpet for this one and just say the fact that we got the maths question wrong, the maths question correct through absolute chance and luck. And I think this expression of surprise on my face gave that away. So.
Okay, that's good. Emma, your champagne moment.
I think would have to be a tie between two. Not blowing my own trumpet, going for on OC when there was the question about the first dogs and the discourse about dogs being treacherous or not treacherous. I thought that was quite a standout. That did make me laugh quite a bit. As more of a personal champagne moment, I think getting Whoopi Goldberg as an EGOT winner, that was just the most obscure piece of knowledge I think I ever used on that show. But that was tremendous.
Surprise. That was tremendous because I was sat there thinking, chat show host. Has Oprah Winfrey won EGOT? And Valerie's going, no, it's Whoopi Goldberg. She hosted The View, and I'm thinking, okay, you got the knowledge. So that was a good answer, really good answer. Will.
I'm going to blow my own trumpet only because I didn't really see any of Only Connect, I'm afraid, because I was, again, like Kathryn with University Challenge, was fielding messages and stuff, and I didn't really see that much at University Challenge either, to be honest. I was quite happy with the vis-a-vis answer that I gave in the general knowledge round, only because it was the only question, I think, in the whole show where I actually talked myself out of a wrong answer rather than talking myself out of a right one. So I was quite happy with that.
Nice. I'm not sure what my favourite moment was, but I think I'll probably narrow it down to seeing my friend Beth as a clue, because I know that is going to have made her night. And I have to say, I think the Elon Musk one, just because it's general knowledge, but it was also brutal in terms of the sequence. But I do think my favourite bit was the what do you think is going on here? Maths. I'm with Jonathan Gibson on that. I always like those kind of comments. It's like, yeah, because I was sat there just going, it's numbers, isn't it? It's numbers. So yeah. So those were mates. But it was a great night. It was a great load of episodes. Look, thanks so much, everybody, for coming on. Will, Emma, Kathryn, I know when you've been on TV, there are a lot of calls on your time. A lot of people want a piece of you. And it's great that you gave up time to come and chat to us. Owen, it's great that you came on again. Love having you on and hearing from you. Thanks to everybody in the chat. He doesn't stop. Thanks to everybody in the chat who's contributed, chatting amongst yourselves on some things, contributed to the discussion. That's great. Don't forget that we have Elimination coming out Wednesday morning, 8:30. Look out for that. You'll really enjoy that. We've got What is the Question coming out on Sunday. Every lunchtime between 12 and 2, we've got lunchtime quiz time on Twitter, so you can join in with that. And we will be back next week, where I believe University Challenge is Warwick versus Bristol. And we've got Ben Russell-Jones coming on, and hopefully a couple of the Bristol team. And anything else coming up on next week, I don't know yet because I haven't secured the guests. So I kind of worked that one out during the week when the BBC deigns to tell us who's on these various episodes. So until next week, thanks once again to everybody who's watched. Thanks once again to Will, Owen, Emma, and Kathryn. And everybody at home, have a great week, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.